Welcome back. So we need a simple web app to test the model that we created in our last lesson. And since the focus of this unit isn't on web programming, we're basically just going to give it to you, right? So let's go elsewhere here in GitHub. So let's go to HTTPS. Let's say // and we're going to go to GitHub, right, .com. And within here, we're going to go to Rose Mobile Endpoints, right? And then we'll go to Movie Quotes. So Movie Quotes Web App, right? So just like that. And again, if you wanted to just grab the link right out of the document, if you're following along, that's perfectly fine. So we will go ahead there. And fine with me if you want to clone this into your desktop, or if you just want to download the zip. In fact, it's probably easiest in this case to download the zip. So I'm going to go ahead and grab this guy. And go ahead and open it up. And within here, there's really just a couple things that I want. So I'm going to want these two folders here, so static and templates. So I'm going to go back in here into Eclipse, and I'm going to drag and drop these guys right in here. Then I'm going to make a change to app.yaml, right? So again, I guess you could grab the one that's in there, but I'm just going to modify this guy. There's not too much to change here. We are also going to need, there's a templating system that's used in Python for the web that is called Jinja. So we're going to go ahead and grab this guy. So it's actually Jinja 2 is going to be the name. And then for the version, we'll use the latest as well. And that should be something that was included in our project setup. We got Jinja as part of App Engine. And then let's see, we want to add these static files here. So we'll say URL. If this is static, then what we want to do is we want to add in, let's see, so for the static directory, it's just going to be static. So you can pretty much just copy this in. I admit I am not a web app master at this point by any means. My colleague Dave put this together, so I'm kind of with you. All right, just copy this in and it will work, right? So that's good. So probably the most important thing to note here is that this wildcard is what comes last, right? Because if you put the wildcard first, then whenever wherever you go on your website, it's just going to get sort of sucked into main.app and it's never going to refer to the other things. So this is the wildcard, the asterisk here, always goes last, right, within our list of handlers, right? So that's important. All right, the next thing we want to do is main.py. There's not much here that's redeemable. This is the vanilla hello world. So go ahead and grab main.py from your from the code that you downloaded, and you can drag this guy in and overwrite it, right? So we go ahead and do that, and lots of stuff going on here. Let's go ahead and run this guy first. So actually, it turns out that it is already running, even though we swapped in the whole thing. Let's go back to our local host 8080 and do a refresh, and voila, right? So there it is, right? We've given you the whole web app. And we can even try it out, right? So let's go ahead and add in another one, right? So this is localhost here. So I guess we can do that. So sure. I'd rather kiss a Wookiee, right? It says Princess Leia in Star Wars. So let's go and do that. You can tell I have some favorite quotes that I like to use. Click submit, and it pops up here, right? So try it out. Add your own quotes. See what you think. So what's going on? Let's take a brief look at our code here. So we'll start off. Excuse me. We'll start off with some imports, right? So we have NDB, just like we did in our model object. We're importing Jinja and Web App 2, and also we're importing our MovieQuote class, right? So this is saying from models.py import MovieQuote, right? So remember we had just created that. So we have some things. We're setting up the Jinja environment, so it's don't need to know too much about that. And let's see, what I'm going to do is actually real quickly, I'm going to change this. This font is really hard to see. So I'm going to go to Window, Preferences, and change that guy. All right, and here it is under Editor. So I'm going down to, let's see, to Comments. I'll just change the color. I don't know, magenta or something like that should work out fine. Be a little bit easier to see. All right, so we're back here. Yeah, there we go. So that was our Jinja environment. We're actually going to be putting movie quotes into one group. This is actually what we use to enforce strong consistency. Believe it or not, if you don't deal with parent keys at all, then you actually need to manually refresh the web page every time that you add a quote. So anyway, so we have this parent key here, which is NDB key. And then we have our main handler, and we're saying essentially how do we respond to gets and posts, right? So gets are going to happen when it loads, right? And this is actually doing a query here, and you'll see that it's by negative of the last touch date time, which means it's going to be going in the order where the most recent dates are going to come first, right? And then a couple lines right here that are essentially saying, take these quotes that you just downloaded, and go ahead and load up a template, right? So from this templates folder, MovieQuotes.html, and if I take a peek at this guy, we'll open this guy up right here as well. Then it's saying take this template here, right, which is essentially HTML, but it's kind of some Jinja in it, so we can mix in some code and swap in the actual list of movie quotes in for this movie quote variable, so you can loop over them. All right. So that's how it's doing the display. We'll go back to main, right, and that's actually rendering it together. So essentially, pulling the two things together. If there's a post request, right, so when they actually go ahead and click the submit button here, it's going to post. And how does that handle? It's essentially saying go ahead and construct a new movie quote using the parent key, and then set the quote and the movie in the object to be the quote and the movie that were pulled out of the request that was made, right? So when we click submit, we're going to be submitting things that are tagged with quote and movie, and we're going to put those into our model object, right? And then this line right here is going to put it into the data store, right? So insert it into the database, and then we do a quick redirect back to the same page, so it essentially refreshes, right? And app right here, this last line is essentially defining, in app.yaml, when we say that, hey, if someone navigates to this page and they go to main.app, so inside main app, this is actually where they're going, and this is an object that's created inside the Web App 2 framework, right? We do not have to worry about this. In fact, honestly, for this file, you can get by pretty much entirely by taking what you have here and just template matching if you have some different things. For the stuff that we're going to be doing in this unit and in the lab, going to be very similar to this, so you don't have to worry much about it. The focus here is not creating web apps. So that's it for this lesson. We'll see you next time when we start working on our API. All right, have a great day.